Hey everybody, Matthew Boyle here from LanguageCardGames.com, where we believe if you can play cards, you can learn languages. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a really easy way and a fun way to get started using Language Guardians. And I think what I'm about to show you would be perfect if you regard yourself as a casual gamer or beginning gamer, or as someone who is quite new to their target language, maybe just a beginner in their target language, or maybe someone who is working with really young children and young students and wants a simple way to get started in order to build their confidence in their abilities. This way is going to be great for you. It is proven, it is foolproof, it is what I do with young children and students to get them started, and I've seen amazing results. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find your way back to this video and others, which will help you a lot with this game. The version of the game that I'm actually using today is the print and play version, it's fantastic for parents and students or people who just are looking for great value for a lower price. This game you can download, print out, and cut out and start playing within minutes. Again, this is at LanguageCardGames.com. You can also get a discount for it if you subscribe in the pop-up box at the home page. Alright, so what we should do first is organize the cards and kind of sort them by category, because we're going to pick out the categories that we feel that we know something about that we can handle. After we've done that, let's look through here and see what we think is easiest to work with to get started. I think one of the easiest is the people category, because for this one, for the green card, we just say the name. The green emphasizes nouns. So for the green card, we can say the name or occupation of a person. The blue would be, sorry, just trying to get that to focus for you. The blue would be to say blue emphasizes verbs, so you say what people can do, such as to walk or to run or to eat. Black and white represents adjectives, so you describe a people like tall or beautiful and so on. And the red emphasizes sentences. So when you get a red card, you try to put a whole sentence together using perhaps other components that have come up during the games. So I think people is a great one to bring in. Another great one might be the food and drink. Okay. Let's see, what else? Maybe places, cities, locations, or certain buildings like hospitals and schools. Weather's another great one. A lot of children start studying weather when they're very young, like sunny, rainy, snowy. Animals are great. Even as beginners, we tend to know some animal names. And animals can do a lot of the same things people can do, so some of those cards are quite similar. And we also describe them in similar ways sometimes. Maybe we'll leave out stuff that you can buy or sell at the marketplace, or things that you can wear. Maybe we'll leave out too, there's some weapons cards. This is really to, especially for young boys who love to study weaponry and military style things, I put that one in there because, you know, there's not always a lot of cards and games for language learning that really can attract young boys. So that's why this is in here. But if you don't want to talk about that topic, you could just leave that one out. Plants might be fairly easy. Well, I don't know. It really depends on you. Let's just leave that one out for now because I think we got a lot of cards already. I think you want to look to get about leave half the deck out and bring half the game in for yourself. And that would be a great number of cards to get started with. Okay, let's look at the wild cards. So these ones are a pink or purplish color. And when you play these cards, you can, if you play these cards successfully, you can change the color to any color that you want. The goal in this game is to get rid of all the cards in your hand. The first person to put down all their cards first wins. So if you can change the color to something you need to put down, that's really going to help you out. So there's a mixture of fairly simple cards in here and also more difficult cards. So which ones are the easier ones? Well, I think this one asks you to say the numbers 1 through 10. This one is sports. This one is colors. This one is body parts. And I think we want to put in about half or less than half of the wild cards here. We want to keep the proportions of the different categories in a helpful way. If there was way too many wild cards, that could get crazy. So maybe half of those or less than half, since we're taking half of these. These ones are more challenging things to say, and they also have special effects that will reverse the direction of play, make other people pick up cards, and stuff like that. So we won't get into that now. We can just leave those aside. I think it's fun to get started with what you can, and then you'll have something fun. You'll have something more challenging to look forward to later once you get the hang of these. So there's a lot of value packed into these decks. Okay, once we have the cards that we want to use, that we feel capable of activating, let's shuffle them up. By the way, just as an aside, what I'm showing you here today is a strategy that you can apply to really any of the card games that we make. For example, Other Tongue, or Fighting Flashcards, or Chinese Champions. Some of those games are much more difficult than this one, but you can approach them in a similar way. Build mini decks that work for you. Customize your approach. Customize the game to fit your language learning needs, what you already know and what you want to know. You can start off with building a deck that you know every card that's in there, and then you can start to add in some cards that you want to stretch yourself to remember and know. And soon you'll be bringing in the whole deck, and once you've mastered that deck, you could go on to the next one. All right, so we've got this deck shuffled up, and now we have to deal some cards to each player. Again, if you, this is very customizable, so if you deal everybody a large number of cards, the challenge to them will be greater, and the game will be longer. So typically with younger students and children, I give them a smaller hand because that lets us finish the game in just maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So they feel that sense that they've accomplished something and finished something successfully in a short amount of time. And that lets them feel capable. That kind of develops within them that sense of agency. So let's start with a very low number of cards. I would say 5 or less. Often I will start with even 3 or 4. But whatever, let's just say 5. So we give 5 to each player. Oh, it could also be less because we're dealing with less cards. You know, we only have half the deck now, so you might want to just give 3 or 4 cards to each player. Okay, so we do that, and then we're going to flip over 1 card to get us started. If you flip over a wild card, keep flipping until you get a card that has a color. And I want to flip these over so you can see what the people have, so you can get a sense of how this game will really work. Okay, so to get started here, I have to put down the same color card, or the same named card, or a wild card. So I can put down red, I can put down a weather card, or I can put down a wild card. Let's see what I have. I have a red one, so I could put down this one because it's the same color. I don't have a card named weather, so I don't have that option. I do have a wild card, so this card is pink, so it's a wild card and it can be played on top of anything. But I don't really want to play that right now because I want to save that for a time when I'm stuck and there's nothing else I can do. Right now I have something that I can do. I can speak a sentence about a person. So for example, in my target language, I might say, that man is handsome, or that girl is beautiful. And because I said a full sentence, that allows me to put the card down. Now, if you're playing in a really cooperative and a really friendly setting, I would allow for some mistakes and just encourage the people. If you want to make it more educational and more competitive, you can, I don't want to say punish, it doesn't sound good, but if somebody says the card wrong, if they make a mistake, you can gently point it out to them and make the card and send the card back to their hand, or you can just let them keep it down and make them repeat after you what is the correct way to say that. I think that actually that way works best for me, and that's the way that I use most of the time. I will just echo what the student or the child or the beginner has said in the correct way and let them, naturally they'll want to repeat after you to make it right. And then you can just keep going. Another way is if they didn't say something quite right, you could make them draw a card. But usually for beginners, I don't send the card back to their hand. I don't ask them to draw a card. That is better for older, more competitive people. For this one, you can just get them to repeat after you. Another way that's great is if they don't know what to say for a card in their hand, you can teach them what to say and they repeat after you in order to let them put their card down. That way works great. It's so encouraging for the students and young people and the beginners. Okay, so the next person, what could they play? They could play a red card. They've got 2 of those. They don't have any people cards. This is a person, so they don't have anything named person. And they don't have any wild cards, so their only choice would be to play one of these 2. Now, what happens if they have no idea what they could say for these 2 cards? Well, like I said before, if you are in a very cooperative and collaborative environment, or if maybe you're a teacher or a parent or a much older player, you could help them know what to say. You could teach them what to say in order to let them put that card down. And a lot of students love to do that. Another way, let's say the students are slightly older and maybe they know how to research or look up words fairly quickly. You could say, you could allow them to go look up that word and come back. Maybe you want to say, if you don't know, then we skip your turn and you can go look it up. Okay, it's up to you. So you've got some options there for what to do. So let's say we teach them how to say a sentence about food and drinks. Maybe we're reviewing something they learned before. Okay, great. Then they can put that card down. And then we go around and around. So the first player to put down all of their cards would be the winner. And if you don't want to play you could just let one person finish, stop there, shuffle all the cards, start a new game. Or what I tend to find happens with younger students and beginners and younger children is they want to play until everybody finishes, and they want to help each other to finish. And I think that's a great way to look at this game. Not one person necessarily is the winner, but we all win once we've all finished. And we can even though maybe all my cards are gone, I can continue to learn and help other people. I can continue to learn some of their cards and help them to put down their cards. So the learning continues until everybody's finished. Just depends on how you want to work it. If 1 or 2 people are finished and they're kind of sitting there and you're having trouble incorporating them, maybe, you would just want to stop the game and say, let's start a new game. And when you start new games, you can allow the winner of the last game to finish, or you can just let the next person in the circle start the next game, and that may give them a slightly greater chance of winning the next time. Okay, so I hope in this game I've given you... Oh, before I go, remember that once you've gotten a handle on these cards that we built our deck with, you can, in the next time you play, you can add in one more category that you think you can handle. Or you can study one of these categories before you play the next game, and then when you play the next game, add that category in. So it's very customizable for your needs. It's very adaptable for your level. So I hope that really helped you out today to understand this game, Language Guardians, and make it more effective for your needs. If you liked this video, I hope you'll like and subscribe to this channel and leave us a comment down below. And head over to languagecardgames.com and subscribe if you haven't already. And you can check out, we have a blog there where we explain more about the games. And we also have more options of games you can play. Alright, but that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you back here next time at Language Card Games. Bye for now.